So I just got the top unclamped, and here are the tone bars that I got on now. So you can start hearing a little difference. I doubt the camera will pick it up well, but as you add the braces, you'll start noticing the tone changing. Everything starts sounding a little different, and as you add more and more, the pitch will change more and more. It'll sound more higher and tighter. But anyway, let's continue adding braces to this. Next is the finger braces. So for these, I don't eyeball them. I actually come down, let's see, right from the little corner right here of the X joint. I come down 3 inches, and then another 3 from that. And let's do another 3 from that. I got room for it. On braces, I've heard that every 3 inches is a node, actually, right where the vibrations peak and cancel themselves out. So you can actually have slightly higher bracing there because the node stops the vibration, so you're not actually muting anything because there's not actually anything there. So anyway, got this marked out here. Gonna have a total of 6 finger braces. 1, 2, 3 there. Just got to sand the end smooth and trim it out. Be right back for that. Alright, so got the finger joints placed where I want them. They're not glued down yet, but you want to try and line up the center of the brace with that mark that I made, that you'll make actually. I won't be making the marks on your instruments for you. But anyway, just line up the finger brace right there, right in the center of the mark, and go ahead, put on some glue. I'm going to be using my same clamping method, but anyway, just glue it up and it should be all good to go. Just gonna glue one here real quick. Hide glue is hot. If you're working with hide glue, make sure to heat up your brush beforehand, just because if the glue gets into the fibers of the brush itself, it'll harden it and make spreading harder later. It's very hard to wash hide glue out of a brush, I found. Not impossible, just tedious. Once you gotta spread glue all along the bottom here and on the edge that's going against the brace, and just line it up and press that in, wiggle it just a couple of times. You'll feel it hold on and grab on, especially since I'm using a lot stronger gram strength of hide glue. I feel that a lot more. Just now I got all the finger braces glued in here. They're all solid and well attached. Right now I'm not shaping any of the braces, so I'm going to leave them all big blocks and shape them down later. But the next brace that I'm going to add on is right up here. And the purpose of this brace is to support the fingerboard extension over the body, showing it what it would look like. The fingerboard on guitars and basses normally extends out over the body just a bit. And that part of the instrument really needs supported because there's a lot of rotational force right there. And plus the sound hole normally sits right here, so there's no wood to support it here, and there's a lot of force rotating up there. So this brace has to be pretty big and massive. Got a big chunker of a brace here. This one, it looks like it's 3/8 by 1/2 inch. So pretty massive. Probably a lot bigger than I need, but that's okay. I prefer it being a little too strong over going to collapse. So for this brace, you want to push it up high so it's under the fingerboard extension itself, but you don't want it so high that it starts resting inside the neck block in the body. Depending on your plans, most instruments, I believe, have a 3/4 inch to 1 inch neck block. So I'm going to come down 1 5/8 here. Right about there. So as long as I stay below that line, I'll be okay. And let's actually just put it right here. Mark out on the X brace where this is going to sit. And just like with the bridge plate, easiest way to mark this out is to hold it in place and then mark out on the inside right where the X brace intersects. You want to be as accurate as you can, but you can make some minor adjustments later. Mark that out and connect the lines. backwards. And there we go. I'm gonna trim this out, sand it down, and glue it in. Be right back for that. Alright, almost there. After this one is glued, 2 more braces. So once you get it cut, you want to make sure that it sits flush with each side of the X brace. It's okay if it's canted just a hair, a little bit. If it's something like that, you may want to remake it or shave down the ends, sand it down so it all sits flush. But just like 1 to 2 degrees off the center should be okay. So now going over, getting my hide glue back out. It's all warmed up here. Since the pot's starting to run low, it heats up a lot faster. It's kind of convenient. So just spread it thickly, just like every other brace. Spread it on thick. You want to make sure there's no thin parts of this glue, because you can deal with squeeze out later, but it's harder to deal with a not glued brace, or a brace that's going to come unglued later because the glue joint was too thin. So spread it on each end too, because you're pressing them up against the X brace itself. And I'll put a little extra in these ends just to ensure, give me a little bit more peace of mind. And now that you got it glued, just set it down and slide it into place. Press it down firmly, and if you're using hide glue, you'll feel it lock in as it starts to gel. Right there. Perfect. So I'm gonna wipe up all the excess right on the top of the brace here, just so when I go to clamp stuff down, I don't actually glue down any wood to the brace itself, or to the guitar top. So got the piece there. Use my clamping method, and when doing this, just push it up with your hand a little bit, push the brace into place, make sure it doesn't slide a little. So there's that. Like I said, 2 more braces to go, almost done. Alright, so I got the top brace on here. I forget the name of it, but this brace is now glued down tight and strong. It's not fully cured, but it's clamped well enough and dry enough that I can continue working. So there is one last brace that you're going to have to add, or 2 actually, that I add. And those sit right about here on it, just to add a ton of support to this area right here. I've had this brace collapse in on itself before, so I try to make sure to support it as much as I can. So for this one, I'm going to mark out on this where I want the brace to sit. Let's come down, let's say 2.5 inches. And let's come over the same amount, 2.5 inches. And just mark it out on each end. So right there. And coming down. So I know I'm going to want this brace to sit roughly like this. It's not going to be a very long brace, but it does add a lot of strength to the area that needs it. Especially since the sound hole is going to be sitting right about here. So that does weaken the instrument a little bit. So let's line this up. Once again, just setting the brace on top and marking on the brace itself where the inside of the edges are, where the cuts are going to be. Just eyeballing it right there and there. There, there. And make sure too for this, if you're doing both at the same time, just put a little mark to identify which one goes on which side, so you don't get them backwards. So, grab my pen here, I lost it for a second. Connect the lines once again. There we go, and I'll cut this out. I'm going to mark out the other one too real quick while I'm here. Just so that way I can knock them both out at the same time, glue them both down at the same time, and move on just a little bit faster. There we are. So both braces are going to sit roughly like this. And the sound hole is going to be a little small, but on a lower toned instrument, basses and such, or bigger guitars, you want the sound hole to be just slightly smaller than normal, just because lower tones do favor a smaller sound hole. I'm going to cut those out, be right back. Okay, so I got the braces cut and sanded. You want to again make sure the ends are flush against each brace here, that there's no gap and it's as tight as you can make it. Take your time if you have to, there's no rush. But now that I got it all sitting nice and good, I am going to glue it up, and these will be the last braces, I believe. Aside from one patch here or there later I might add, but I'll get to those in a later episode. So for the last time for this video, I'm gonna glue these up, spread the hide glue, and since these are smaller, they glue up a lot faster, which is nice because I have less time. I don't have much time to work with the glue before it cools and gels, so being able to glue a smaller piece is nice because there's just less area to mess up on. There's that. Let's get the other one glued real quick. Then I'll clamp it and it'll be good to go. There's that. Spread glue in here. Get a little bit more on my brush. Just slide that right into spot and press it in and wiggle it just a little bit. Help it clamp it. Help the glue to contract into the right spot. And then let's see here. This guy, that's just big enough. Set that there, and just to provide more clamping spot force to that specific area, I'm putting that brace on, or the little scrap of wood on here. And then drop the books on, and it's clamped. So that is all of the braces for the base top. And I think that is going to be all for this video too. Thanks so much if you did watch all the way through. I hope it was informative for you. So next video, probably get on to shaping it and doing the sound hole, and probably after that get into bending the sides and actually making the body. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video, be it woodworking or music video. I don't know, I do both of those. You can find that on the end page here. Boy.